I'm Ross McGarry, a senior analyst at AVI, sitting on the global investment team, and I focus on South Korean and Japanese equities. My main responsibility is identifying undervalued and under-researched companies in South Korea and Japan, specifically looking for companies which we call overcapitalized, meaning that those companies are sitting on significant net cash, investment securities, or non-core real estate relative to their market cap, and where the market is yet to identify that hidden value. Within that as well, my job sort of entails working on the end-to-end process of the full investment process. So starting at the initial screening process, understanding what a business does, all the way through to pitching a company to the broader investment team, and where necessary, engaging with a company's management team to try to unlock that hidden value. It's a rather hackneyed phrase, but no 2 days are the same, and that's something which makes the role extremely enjoyable. My time is often split between monitoring existing holdings, as well as identifying new research opportunities. So on a day-to-day, that might be me going through a company's filings, its investor presentation materials, speaking with members of IR, or just having a general chit-chat with my colleagues to discuss, a prospective investment idea. When it comes to the results season, this can be a bit more intense, as it often requires digesting a lot of information in a short period of time to understand the impact those results might have on a company's share price, on our position in that company. And on top of that, there's AVI's engagement work. So that might mean preparing an extended letter or a presentation to send to a company's management team and board of directors. Once we've sent that over to the company, we then tend to meet with a company's management and board of directors, both virtually or in person in Seoul and Tokyo. But at its very core, my role is very much research driven, which means spending my time learning about new businesses, new industries, new sectors. And that's one of the things that keeps it interesting every day. In Japan and Korea, we start at the very top, taking all of the thousands of listed companies and then applying AVI's proprietary quantitative screening process to try and filter that number down quite significantly. And to do that, we ask 3 core questions. First, is the company overcapitalized? Meaning, does the company have a significant pile of cash, investment securities, and non-core real estate relative to its market cap? Secondly, are the underlying businesses of high quality? And we will rank companies on metrics such as margins, return on invested capital, return on equity, and free cash flow generation. Then finally, and most importantly, is there a real mispricing? Is the company trading at a value which is less than it's actually worth? At AVI, we use a company's discount to its sum of the parts or net asset value as our yardstick measure for whether or not there is a mispricing, and we then track a company's discount over time in our own proprietary database. Companies that rank highly in answering all 3 of these core questions are then moved to AVI's second round of research. That might mean engaging with experts who previously worked at companies, sell-side analysts, undertaking peer benchmarking, more in-depth financial analysis, and on top of that, eventually meeting with the management teams and IR teams of those companies specifically. It's designed to be a repeatable process where you're continually asking, is there value on offer here? Is there a credible path to unlocking that value? And can AVI, through our own engagement, influence the unlocking of that value? I'd say that there are a few distinct challenges in my role, given that my time is spent analysing Korean and Japanese equities. The first is navigating the different language and cultural differences, given the different corporate cultures in Japan and South Korea. And when fostering a relationship with the management team of our portfolio companies, it requires both time and real cultural sensitivities. This is particularly pertinent when it comes to AVI's own engagement with our portfolio companies, as convincing a family-controlled Korean chaebol company or a conservative Japanese company to change how they're thinking about allocating capital requires patience, persistence, and a well-constructed argument. Although corporate reform waves in both of these countries is extremely exciting, and the regulator is increasingly on the side of minority shareholders, in our experience, getting real change over the line requires a level of cultural understanding. I think the most important skill is understanding what really matters. So when building a financial model, when engaging in the different competing arguments around a stock, or constructing engagement materials to send to a company's management team, the most important skill is understanding which of those arguments matters the most. As a financial analyst, we're consuming significant volumes of information and noise every day, and being able to filter through that and digest it in a way in which you can understand exactly what will move a company's share price is most important. And I think that goes alongside the second most important skill, which is communicating this. It's no good understanding all of these different things if you cannot communicate to the investment team exactly how these things matter in practice. I studied economics at university and undertook a placement in investment banking, which really drew me to the research side of the role. However, the intellectual curiosity of markets and the tangible impact of finding undervalued companies and engaging with those companies to unlock that value is what keeps me in this role to this very day.